the defensive line keeps on adding in the transfer portal class. Alongside Michael Langston, senior recruiting and portal analyst for Warchant.com, my name is Tom Lang, and Florida State has added its third edge player of the transfer cycle. First, it was Marvin Jones, then it was Tomiwa Durojaye, and now Oregon State transfer defensive end Sione Lolohea says yes to Florida State. Michael Langston, your thoughts on what is rapidly becoming a stockpile of defensive line talent for Florida State out of the portal?
Yeah, this is unreal. I can pride myself that I'm not surprised often when it comes to portal stuff. We kind of know, kind of what leads into, what's going to happen. But this is one that caught me by surprise in the last 24 hours. You started hearing buzz that, first it was like, everything seemed to go well on the FSU visit he took on that Friday, I believe. Then he went back, and I think he was taking a visit to Southern Cal. So the original process, the way it was trending was, hey, it's probably going to be Southern Cal. They do really well with players to his statue. Obviously, Polynesian type of players, they always do well in getting those guys. And so we didn't hearing that it was likely that's the way it was trending. And then, probably today, as we're doing this, start hearing some buzz about FSU. So, but this is a big one because this is a big town. Certainly very effective. We talked about the other guys they've added, and then this guy that not only pass rush, but just he is so elite against the run. Just really adds a lot to that room as far as bringing a guy that just is a playmaker. He makes a play. Whatever you put him, it seems like he's always around the ball.
So, Michael, this is quite the rotation on this side of the ball. We just got done talking in a recent video about Durojaye and what he brings to the field for Florida State. You can line him up on the opposite side of Patrick Payton, and now you've got variety. You've got a larger body type to match with the quick twitch that Patrick Payton has. Marvin Jones Jr. is in the fold, obviously, as well. You compared Durojaye to a Kier Thomas. Is Lolohea also in that mold, or is there a little bit more of a difference in his game versus the young man that they got from West Virginia?
There's a little more of a pass rush with this guy, and usually you don't get that with a guy that's listed as 6'3", but he's very good with his footwork off the line. He's really good winning battles off the line. It's just really the way he gets the advantage and the leverage is really impressive for a guy that's big in stature, but usually you want guys at 6'5" that have that length that get the advantage, and he gets the advantage just with his quick feet and quickness and hands, really violent hands, just getting off the line. And certainly he's DJ's buddy, so I'm sure DJ's pretty happy, getting a familiar face there. But I think overall he does some similar things, but he also does a little more, I think, from a pass rush standpoint.
Okay, Michael. Now, I fear asking you this question puts you into a corner. At edge, at defensive end, I mean, Florida State done now? I will always take as a Nole. Like, I cover stuff, but I'm also a fan, Michael. So I will take all the talented bodies that they want to bring in. But man, this has to be close to wrapped now for Florida State, at least at this specific position.
I would think so, but the one thing I've learned is you never say they're done until we hear they're done. So until I hear the word like, "Hey, Mike, stop working," we're good at that position.
Yeah.
I'm going to believe that. You still have to go through the May window. You still have to go through the window of just preparing just in case if somebody leaves or something in May. So I never say never, but you would feel like likely it fits what they wanted. As far as they coveted to really address this position. So I'd say likely, but I would never say never.
All right, so let's put a bow on this. This isn't the end of what Florida State is doing. I'm sure that I haven't seen Mike Norvell's tweet, but not done yet, I'm sure, is probably something that he puts out with this tweet.
Yeah,
Michael, in the last week, in the last 7 days, really, Florida State has gone crazy in terms of portal additions. They've run up the class rankings. If you're talking about the on-3 class rankings, that's less important than fits for the program. Just assess what you think of the work that Florida State has done in the portal. Should we have expected this all along? Has this exceeded your expectations? Is this about where they should be? Just your thoughts on the work they've done the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal. I think everything's kind of gone, pretty much as planned of what they wanted to execute. I think they wanted to highlight each position and what they wanted. Obviously, they've coveted the edge position. They got that. They wanted to really attack their special teams. They got that with certainly Jalen Lucas. I think overall the defensive line they want to add a more explosiveness. They got that with Grady Kelly. Receivers they addressed that with Malik and certainly the other one drawing blank, Jalen Brown. So they've all addressed all the different positions. Lundy returning, it's almost like you're adding a new linebacker. So adding him was a big deal. So I think overall, yes, they're on pace to what I thought they would do. Maybe even a little bit higher because I thought they might have to go into that May window where it might measure out each for January and May. So I think overall they're doing exactly what they had hoped.
So speaking generally, because these things can change at any point, but Michael, that we've seen situations in which there are high school kids they didn't get on signing day that came to them. We've seen a situation where a kid left for another university, took photos at that university, was on that university's website as a part of their signing class, come back to Florida State. It's been a wild ride, but in terms of what could be happening in the spring window and maybe the graduate transfer window and beyond, we know linebackers a place that Florida State will still be looking. Are there any other positions, any offense or defense, where you're saying they definitely are not done? They want to bring in some more there.
Yeah, they do. And like I said, we can say all these different things of what they have to do and what they've gotten so far, but I think there's still work to do. I think they need a defensive tackle. They need, I think, one or two linebackers. I think you have to explore. You can't just look at the portal what you have now. You got to look at what could impact in May. So they're obviously it's still ever changing. We have to make sure that the roster's still the same of what it is, and there's two different seasons. Like I think people focus on just what you're adding now instead of like what potentially could happen in May that you have to adjust your plans. And this staff has shown they're very good at adjusting and going on the fly. But it's definitely not done, guys. But this is an incredible start. This is an incredible boost of where they need to be. And I think I said it the other night when we did the one with Tom as far as the defensive end for West Virginia. They really wanted to get this edge position done before they hit that May window. It kind of solidifies okay, now we know what steps we have to do next. And certainly the DJ Lundy news was unexpected, but a very nice surprise for FSU. It kind of makes the linebacker recruiting even a little more easier and attainable to what we're dealing with, but they're not done. If, I'm sure if Mike Norvell was with us, he'd say we're not done yet and all that stuff. But you can tell they've really pivoted really well. And we always talk about responses on the field from FSU, and I think we're seeing a major response from FSU in the portal of where, I would get texts from people like, Mike, are we going to get anybody? Are we going to get anybody? Because there was a lot of worry and panic and angst about what's going on. So I think overall this is a extremely strong response from FSU. I think it's likely going to be a top 5 portal class when you start ranking all the portal classes. I think it will be in that top 5 range when it's all said and done, when they finalize everything. But yeah, there's still work to do, but I think it's an incredible start for FSU, and they're getting the needs and the holes that they want to fill. I always say FSU addresses places where they feel like there's holes, and just about every year, the last 2 years, including this year, they've nailed it with places that they really need help with. In some places, they just add over. Like last year, I think they over added on the defensive tackle position. They just felt like, you know what, we're going to override this position, so we have the depth that we want. Just in case the NCAA does something and screws them with Daryl Jackson or whatnot. And that was a pretty poetic feeling because that's exactly what happened. But I think they're very good at feeling what's coming, what they're going to need the most. And I think they've nailed it again this year.
You can text your friend back, yes, they're going to get some people, and they might get upwards of a dozen of them. For more of the blow-by-blow on how all these things happen, tips on what's coming next, tips on maybe some names that enter the portal that Florida State is interested in, or maybe they're not, head to warchant.com right now. Subscribe to warchant.com. The premium recruiting board is where Michael takes you through all of these players individually. Matt Lasser doing great work for us as well on the PRB. For Michael, my name is Tom. Florida State lands another defensive end. Good Lord, they're loading up for 2024. Hit the like button underneath this video if this is good news to you. And we will talk to you on Warchant TV next time.